The Romney Marsh stretches for miles across the Kent coast. Flat, silent and windswept. Today, it feels empty, but in medieval times this landscape was alive with small villages, farms and churches. The sea once reached much further inland, and over the centuries, it shaped everything here, building land, taking it away, and forcing people to move as the water advanced or retreated. Many of the old parishes vanished, their churches left to crumble on the marsh. What remains are fragments of stone and memory, the last traces of communities lost to time, tide, and the changing earth beneath their feet. All Saints' Church at Hope was one of the earliest parishes on Romney Marsh, built in the 12th century when this land was newly reclaimed from the sea. It served a small farming community halfway between New Romney and Becket Church. As the coastline moved south and the marsh drained, the people drifted away. By the 1500s, the parish was deserted and the church fell into ruin, its stone reused in nearby farms. Today, only fragments of its walls remain beside the B2075, surrounded by open fields. A modern sculpture park now fills the churchyard, giving the place a strange mix of silence and renewal. Art standing where faith once stood, on land the sea tried to take back. Midley Church once stood on a small island of higher ground in the middle of Romney Marsh. Built in the 14th century and dedicated to St. Peter, it served a tiny community surrounded by tidal creeks and shifting waterways. By the 1500s, flooding, silting, and the retreat of settlement forced people to abandon the parish. The church was stripped for stone, leaving only the western arch standing alone in the field. Today, it feels completely isolated, a single fragment of medieval masonry on open marshland, with nothing around it but wind, grass, and the distant sound of passing trains. Midley is the clearest reminder of how entire parishes here simply faded away as the landscape changed. Eastbridge was one of the later medieval parishes on Romney Marsh, built on slightly raised ground between Becket Church and New Church. By the 16th century, repeated flooding and poor drainage led to the parish being abandoned and the church left to decay. Today, the ruins sit tucked behind a cottage, half hidden in scrub and bushes, with a narrow footpath cut through to reach the site. Stones and earthworks mark where the church once stood, a fragment of a lost community now almost swallowed by vegetation and the surrounding marsh. St. Thomas, a Becket Church at Fairfield, is the complete contrast to the ruined parishes. Built in the 13th century, it stood on wooden piles driven into the marsh and later rebuilt in brick in the 1790s to stop it sinking. While nearby parishes like Hope, Midley and Eastbridge were lost to flooding, retreating coastlines and abandonment, Fairfield survived. The church still stands alone among the grazing fields, surrounded by drainage ditches and sheep, and remains consecrated with occasional services held each year. In a landscape where so many medieval churches disappeared, Fairfield is the one that endured, a solitary survivor on the open marsh. The ruins of Hope, Midley and Eastbridge show how whole parishes on Romney Marsh were erased by water, shifting land and time. Yet, Fairfield still stands, alone in the fields. 3 churches vanished, 1 endured, and across this wide, quiet landscape, the marsh remembers them all.